Hello students, welcome back with the new lecture, that is lecture number 4 of chapter 1. Chapter name is Arrival of Europeans in India. Students, today we are going to study the topic name is the French. Not only this topic but also many other topics we are going to discuss today. So let us start. Like England, students, like England, French also established French East India Company in the year 1664. And why they established French East India Company, students? Because to carry out trade in India. They started their trading in the year 1668. Gradually, they established their forts and factories at Surat, Machilipatnam and Puducherry. Puducherry, students, now it is known as Pondicherry. During that time, the head of the French East India Company was Joseph Francois Dupleix. He desired to expand European rules in India. As a result, competition to become strongest European country between French East India Company and British East India Company started. And because of this, there were innumerable disputes, there were innumerable fights, and finally Britishers emerged as the winner. But French did not leave India yet. They retained their trade center at Puducherry, Mahe and Chandranagar. Now students, let us move to the next topic. The next topic is British trade in Bengal. And from here onwards, we will study where the British started their first trading center and in which year they established their fort. So let us start. Students, British started their first trade near the bank of river Hooghly and established their first fort in the year 1651 CE. Then the forts were garrisoned for their protection of the factory and got the permission from Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb to trade without paying taxes against an annual payment. The forts were garrisoned means the forts were well equipped with the securities and guards. Why they put securities and guards? To protect their forts, and factories. Then they moved to Aurangzeb. They requested him and they convinced Aurangzeb to pay the annual taxes instead of paying monthly taxes. Now let us move to the next topic. Students, the order which was passed by Aurangzeb in Bengal was only for the company people. But taking advantage of this, many officers, they started their individual business. They started their individual trading without paying the tax. Now because of this, the income which used to be generated in Bengal, it reduced drastically, which was then opposed by the then ruling king Murshid Quli Khan. It also kept on recurring during Ali Vardi Khan. After Ali Vardi Khan, his son Sirajuddaulah took the charge from Ali Vardi Khan, from his father. He became the Nawab of Bengal in the year 1756. After taking charge, he involved in conflicts with the Britishers. When British merchants failed to pay the taxes which were applicable to both Indians and foreign merchants, he ordered Britishers that they should not concentrate on fortifying their forts but also pay the taxes according to the rules and regulations, and also trade as per the terms and conditions which was prescribed by Siraj-ud-Daulah. After informing also, when Britishers did not pay the taxes and failed to pay the taxes, he waged war against the Britishers and succeeded in expelling them from Calcutta. Now, when this news reached to Madras, the British decided to counter-attack under the leadership of Robert Clive. But Robert Clive, when he reached to the place, he realized that they could not defeat the large army of Siraj-ud-Daulah. Now, as a result, he started to conspire the commander-in-chief, whose name was Mir Jafar. Whose commander-in-chief, students? Siraj-ud-Daulah's commander-in-chief. And convinced him and promised him that if they won the battle, they will give him the charge of Nawab of Bengal. Now, with the help of Mir Jafar, Robert Clive defeated and murdered Siraj-ud-Daulah in the Battle of Plassey in the year 1757. This was the first war waged by the British East India Company in India. Students, the Battle of Plassey was fought on 23rd June 1757 CE. Now, let us move to the next topic. Now, students, as promised by the company, Mir Jafar became the new Nawab of Bengal. But as days passed, he became hostile towards the Britishers, and as a result, company decided to replace Mir Jafar with his son-in-law, whose name was Mir Qasim. But Mir Qasim was an efficient and clever ruler, and as a result, there arose frequent conflicts between the Nawab and the company on account of non-payment of taxes, which ultimately brought both the forces, that is, forces of Mir Qasim and company, against each other. In 1763, Mir Qasim was defeated by the company, but somehow he managed to escape from there. Now, after escaping, Mir Qasim reorganized his force with the forces of Nawab of Awadh Siraj-ud-Daulah and Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II. Their combined forces, that is, forces of Nawab of Awadh, Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II and Mir Qasim, met the company force at the Battle of Buxar in 1764 CE, in which East India Company won the battle, and as a result, the three territories, that is, Bengal, Bihar and Orissa, came under their control. This is how a trading company became a political company in India. Students, this was all from the chapter 1. Let me revise quickly how we started. We started with how the Europeans came to India, which European countries came to India, and how they slowly and gradually started to rule in India. The company which came to India for the trading purpose, how they became a political company in India. So students, this is all for the first chapter. Hope you all have understood this chapter. We will meet with the new chapter within few days. Till then, take care of yourself, stay home, stay safe. Goodbye.